Hello and welcome back to the game room. You know what I love? Video games. You know what I love talking about? Games. And it seems like a lot of people these days who cover games seem to hate them. Or at least the people who play them. Well, that's not me, and that's not the 2,850 of you beautiful people checking out this video here today. Another banner week. Another week of Xbox 360 games that are putting me in the poorhouse because I just can't keep collecting these. We got another 10 games this week. Now, in honor of Father's Day and last year's Father's Day video where I wore a Dad Wendigoon shirt, I'm doing it again. That video did great. Hopefully this one does too. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the games.
There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. My name's Luke. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life.
This is my game room.
Alright, so starting off, this game probably took me more trouble than any other game I tried to pick up. So it is an ATLUS release. It was recommended to me by you guys in the first one of these videos I did. I went to Amazon and I bought a copy. It then didn't ship after 3 weeks and canceled. It actually showed it is still in stock on Play Asia, brand new, so I bought that. It got canceled, and luckily I had bought another copy off Amazon at the same time as the Play Asia one, and it just didn't fulfill. It didn't fulfill for almost a month. And then out of nowhere, I get a shipping notification, and it finally showed up. And that game is The Cursed Crusade. So this is a 2-player game, or a 1-player game, but you can play it as co-op, which, once again, there are so many cool co-op games on the 360. Now, this game is definitely not perfect, especially the first level when I played it. Seemed like there was some hit detection, seemed like some graphical errors, wasn't quite, didn't quite feel like I was swinging the sword and connecting. But it's another level-based game, which is funny. The more I look into the Xbox 360 library at this time, it seems like everything was level-based, and then the games like Skyrim or Dark Souls, or the ones where they have a persistent world, really stood out. And now here in 2024, I feel like we have the opposite problem. Now, everything's a persistent world filled with bloat and collectibles, and I kind of just want to go back to these games where they were level-based, and you just had, one or two things in the level defined, and that was it. And this is a really solid game. Extremely violent. You can have different weapons. So a one-handed sword, two-handed sword, one-handed mace, two-handed spear. And the plot of the story, it takes place at the beginning of the Fourth Crusade. So your father went missing during the Third Crusade. And there's some sort of curse, hence Cursed Crusade, that causes the main character, Dens, I think his name is, to turn into some mythical demon in like a netherworld hellscape, and then death is chasing after him. Same thing with his partner, Esteban Noviembre. And so this curse allegedly can be broken with an artifact that your dad found in the Third Crusade, but then he went missing. And it's all about your journey, trying to get into the Fourth Crusade, trying to get there, all the obstacles coming your way. There's a lot of cool executions you can do with the different weapons. There's combos. You earn victory points by how well you beat the level, and then you can beat it on a higher difficulty level and get more victory points. And all in all, it's just a solid, fun game. I could see it being fun by myself, but definitely this would be something to really sink my teeth in with co-op. Now, I know it's couch co-op. I'm assuming it's online co-op. I really don't know. I think, yeah, online multiplayer as well. Solid game, though. And the main reason why I was so excited to get it is that when I first started looking for these, this was a $10 game, and it quickly became one of those ones where you could not find it. I've seen it, for 40, 35, 50. It's on PS3 as well, and that's kind of the same case for that if you're looking for it. So one, go to your local shops, see if you can find it. Well worth it in my opinion. Really fun game, one I'm looking forward to beating, and just another fun experience on the 360 I was unaware of. It is an ATLUS title. ATLUS titles are notorious for low print runs, and while it's not the best game in the world, definitely one I'm glad to have in the collection. And thank you for the recommendations. I can't remember who recommended it, but once again, all the games you guys have recommended to me that I have picked up and played have been great. I don't think any of them I have not enjoyed. All right, now here's one that I am so happy about. So I passed on this game for 15 back in, I want to say March. So right before I even made my first video on this subject, while I was compiling games to make this video, but I was trying to hold out to find Cul-de-Sac Saga, and I finally gave up on it. I passed on this. It then sold, and then it was up around 2030. I saw it at the local swap meet at the beginning of May. Passed on it again. Now you can't find it any cheaper than 40 or 50. And the reason I passed on it is because it has a name, but then there was an identical game of the same name, and I wasn't sure if they were different games or what. Took me a while to uncover what that was, but the game I'm talking about is Divinity 2: The Dragon Knight Saga. And this bad boy is complete. In fact, if you guys are Divinity 2 collectors, there's a soundtrack that came bundled with it when the game came out. And this has the soundtrack unopened in the case. So this is made by Larian Studios, the people who made Divinity Original Sin, and then most recently Baldur's Gate 3. So I guess the Divinity series goes back before Original Sin. And what had me confused about this is that this has the original Divinity 2, the, what's it called? Echo Draconis, and then its sequel, Flames of Vengeance, which I believe Flames of Vengeance was a DLC or some sort of thing like that. So this is on disc for both of them. I got this for 15. My game store, my local game store, the place where I passed on it for 15 before, got a huge trade-in of a bunch of Xbox games, and I'm thinking they did not update the prices. They just picked what was in the system. The last one to sell was 15 back in March. They slapped it on there, and I just happened to walk into the game store the day these got put on the shelf, and when I went to pay for this, the lady at the register said, I knew that was going to sell today. I just put it out. And I was like, oh, don't take it back. He's like, I was surprised it's still so cheap for an ATLUS game. Yeah, me too. Me too. But I'm not, hey, you get, like I said, sometimes you get lucky. And this is what I'm saying when you guys say YouTubers like me are driving the prices up. Do the work. Go and check out. Look for stuff. You know, my wife did a wonderful thing today. Today is Father's Day, and for Father's Day, she took me on a surprise game-chasing trip. So we traveled all over the Sacramento area, and a bunch of the games I talked about over this last 8 videos, I came across today, and for the prices I bought them for before the prices went up. So if you go into local stores, if you go and haggle with people at thrift stores, or not thrift stores, but you know, flea markets, you can still get deals. Just don't buy them on eBay or Mercari. And yeah, I know not everyone has that time. I don't have that time, but still, you get lucky, and I got super lucky on this game. I didn't play it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I just wanted to talk about it. Looking into it, it is one of those, you know, kind of like Venetica, a third-person exploration action RPG in the vein of console RPGs, where you give yourself your own talent points. And the cool thing about this one is you turn into a dragon, so that's cool. And one that I'm definitely stoked to check out. So happy I found it. You know, now I'm just bummed I missed out on Tornado Outbreak instead of this one, because I was upset with myself for not picking this one up. But yeah, glad to have that one in the hopper. Really cool game. Speaking of really cool games, now this is one that I saw Metal Jesus talk about years ago. I'm not a shooter person, although I will say I probably like horizontal shooters more than I like vertical shooters. Not sure. And one of those that is well known on the system is the game Death Smiles. Now, this game, if you have the faceplate for the Xbox 360, gets super collectible. But even this one has been floating around a $30, $40, $50 game forever. I think I finally broke down and got this for $30 complete. And it does have the soundtrack and all that. And this is a shooter made by Cave. Now, I'm not super familiar with shooters, like I said, but Cave is one of the big boys. I know there's Cave, there's the the Remnant or Revenant or whatever, you know, like the Truxton, those guys, the Toplin shooters. Those are big. Cave, Core, like it's probably a lot of things with C in it. But anyways, this one's a bullet hell shooter, and you play as one of these young ladies that seems to be in a parallel universe where they're away from home, but you shoot tons of massive bullets all across the screen. You have a bomb that wipes the screen. And even though for it being a bullet hell shooter, I had a lot of fun with this. I went through and I did one whole pass. I don't know if you have unlimited continues, but I did manage to get to the end of the game, did the bonus level, managed to beat the stage, beat the game with the nurse chick. and just very tight controls. As someone who is, so let me take this from someone who's not a good person with shooters and not familiar with shooters at all. This one had me wanting to get better. And I imagine that's kind of the point, is that this is one of those ones where it really makes you feel like you're good, you're always powerful, so the amount of bullets you shoot out is not like in most shooters where when you die you go back to nothing. You have an amazing shot from the beginning on this, and it just gets better. You play as these girls are on like brooms or witches or something, so you're not in a ship. You actually get to see your character, and they have a little heart on them, and that's kind of the nature of the bullet hell shooter. So as long as the heart doesn't touch any of the bullets, you're fine. And there's so many bullets on the screen at times, I have no clue how anyone is supposed to get through these things. Like, yeah, I get the bomb allows you to get rid of the bullets, but other than that, I got a lot of work to do. But still a really fun game. I'm glad I jumped on it. Well worth the $35 I paid for it. I think I got this one on price charting of all things. You know, you can buy games on price charting. Love it. Very happy to have it. Great game to pick up. I do see it probably because of the quality going up. I don't see it all the time. Like I said, I did a whole day today of looking for games. I don't think I came across one copy of it. I didn't. These 3 games I just talked about, I didn't see any of them. So, you know, bear that in mind. These are getting harder and harder to find. Now, here's one that I've been wanting to pick up for a long time. Now, a lot of you guys know about the Telltale series. Everyone kind of got familiar with these games once The Walking Dead came out. But before The Walking Dead games came out, they had done 2 games. They had done a Back to the Future game, and they had also done Jurassic Park, the game. And I believe this only came out on Xbox 360. And what's so funny is I remember when this came out, I remember them talking about it because I love the Jurassic Park novels. And when I found out they were going to be going and focusing on Dr. Harding, the veterinarian, who kind of just disappeared in the movie. And I believe he has a bigger role, or maybe he got on the boat in the book. I can't remember. But they were kind of creating a story for him. And then another People of Dodson's was going in there looking after the Barbasol canister. And it's got that Telltale gameplay, but before the Walking Dead games kind of cemented what it was. So there's not as much of that such and such will remember that, or such and such will remember that. It's a lot more linear, which I enjoy. And it's just so funny to me that, you know, kind of what Telltale came. So Telltale Games was from the North Bay. If you know the San Francisco Bay Area, I believe the head studio was in the North Bay. And I was doing a show back at the time in like 2012 or 2011, 2010, something like that. And one of the guys in my cast said he had just gotten a job at Telltale Games. And it's funny because I remember him telling me, yeah, we just got the license for Walking Dead. This is going to be great. And then lo and behold, those games became amazing. But this is still a solid game. Now, it's been around $40 to $50 forever. And I finally just broke down and got a copy on eBay, you know, a couple weeks ago, just because I wanted to play it. I wanted to finally play the damn thing. It is episodic, and I think you can still download it on the Xbox Store, maybe. But it's just one of those ones where I really wanted to check it out. And I played through the entire first episode. And it was fun. It was fun. It's nice that you can get people eaten by T-Rexes, and then it goes backwards. So you don't have endless amount of just going on if you fail a scenario. You do have killable scenarios. And then just seeing, I thought it would be a little bit more of seeing the island during the book or during the movie, but no. They kind of just skip past all of the movie portions, and you're just kind of seeing the sideline of what happened outside of it. But I'm okay with that. And I'm enjoying it. So another good one to pick up if you're interested in those Telltale games. And what ones that before kind of the Walking Dead cemented what they were, that's a cool one to look at. All right, now here's one that I wanted to play for last week's video. I didn't get around to it. So I popped in. It was one of the first ones I played. It is called El Shaddai in Ascension of the Metatron, right? Yeah, Ascension of the Metatron. Now, this game is wonky, man. It is very all over the place. It's highly influenced by Christian iconography and literature. But then it's not. Like it makes Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, a woman, and it makes Uriel an archangel, which I'm pretty sure Uriel was not an archangel. Now bear in mind, a lot of this comes from my knowledge of supernatural. So I know you had Lucifer, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Maybe they had. I know Uriel was in that, but he wasn't. Anyways. So you're going off onto Earth and you're trying to find the fallen angels, and the guy working with you is someone named Lucifer, which is strangely similar to Lucifer, and who's missing so far throughout the story, and he's wearing all black. So I'm waiting for that to kind of turn around, and you're searching for these demons so you can take their souls back, and then you get defeated by a couple of them, and they have names like Azazel and all these, like, once again, all these names all throughout, Christian literature is in this. And it's basically an action combat game, and you can, the hook of it is that you take your weapons from the enemies and then purify it, and then you can use it. Now, I only got to the 3rd chapter of this game, and in that you unlock 2 weapons. So you unlock the big arc weapon, and then you unlock a kind of like a bullets weapon, almost like the weapon in Overwatch that, what's his name, Zarya, or whatever the heck, the big floating dude who looks like Dalsim used. But still, fun. I know this just got a re-release or a remaster on the Switch or modern consoles. It's still a fairly affordable game. I found it a couple times today for $20, and it's fun. It's definitely one that's out there, though. It's very, very out there. So it's a little bit more of an art house game in that regard. So one that just be warned. Be warned, it's not for everybody. All right, now I spoke about the first game in this series. I figure I might as well talk about the sequel, because usually these are harder to find and get more expensive over the long run. So if you haven't picked it up yet, you probably should. And that is Overlord 2. So Overlord, if you remember, is basically a grown-up version of Pikmin. You are this big Overlord demon guy who controls these goblins who go out and do his bidding. And in this game, it's really just more of the same. So it takes place right after the first one. Now you have a big enemy coming from like a Roman ideology or Roman kind of background, and you're going after it again. I think you have 4 goblins you control in this one, and it's just, like I said, it's more of the same. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this one. I didn't get around to playing this, but I wanted to bring it up just because it really does seem similar to the first one. It's still fairly cheap. You can get it on PS3 as well. This is like a $10 to $20 game. Get it, because it's got to be, especially if the first game is getting harder to find. I almost never see either of them, to be honest. I really don't see either of them when I'm out there looking, but especially the second one. I think I've seen the PS3 copy once. I've never seen the Xbox 360 copy, other than today. I think I did see one, and then I picked this up for like $15 a couple months ago. Now, here's one that I have seen a few people bring up, and I figured I'd just throw it out there because it is fun. And you see it everywhere, and more, this is just so you can play it and not have to have the Kinect. And that is the game Child of Eden. So I remember when this was coming out, it was getting touted heavily as like such and such, this big colorful game. It looked like the answer to Flower or those kind of things. And it came out, and it kind of just, I want to say it got soured by the Kinect and all that, and just didn't get very good word of mouth or reviews or anything. And then over the years, always seeing it, even though it says better with Kinect, a lot of people think you need to have a Kinect to play this. You don't. Now, this game is made by the same people who did Res Infinite. And if you like Res Infinite, then you're going to like this game because it's very techno-trippy, lots of colorful lights. It takes place with a weird-ass story where some future girl gets trapped in a star and just gets stuck. Like, it's Japanese as hell in that regard, but if you just ignore that and just want to play it, it's fun. It's a fun visual treat. Not much difficulty to it. Now, I managed to beat the first 2 worlds, but I didn't get enough stars to unlock the 3rd world, so I don't know if I did a mistake on that or what, but I have it and I can get back to it. And it's just one of those things where I was playing this and my daughter came in and she was able to actually watch it and see all the cool colored lights, and not that many of these games I was able to do that for, so that was a bonus too. And just another one that's dirt cheap. I mean, you can find this for $3, $2, $5, so well worth picking this one up. Okay, so I finally did get a heavy hitter. I finally got a heavy hitter that this is not cheap This has probably not been cheap for a long time. It's one of the Spider-Man games, and it's the one that I really wanted to check out. I think I've been aware of this game for a long time. I remember when all these games came out too. So every other year, it seemed like, we were getting some new generic Spider-Man game that would get like a 7 or an 8. And I just had no interest in it. And at this time, I was really I didn't know much about the current state of the comics, the characters, other than the Tobey Maguire movies. But I picked up Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. And the reason I wanted to pick this up is because I really wanted to play as Spider-Man Noir. In this one, you play as a future Spider-Man, current Spider-Man, one that's from the Ultimate Universe, where I guess he has the symbiote suit, and then one that's in the 20s where it's Spider-Man Noir. And it's a level-based game again. So what happens is you shatter some tablet that unlocks a multiverse, this game was made in 2010. Holy cow, we've been doing multiverses since then. Other side note, as someone who doesn't know anything about current Marvel or really the comics outside of the 94 Spider-Man series and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they have Madam Web in this, and I had heard that Madam Web was supposedly an old lady that was in a wheelchair when I saw the previews for that Madam Web movie that bombed earlier this year. And she's in this. And it's kind of funny. Like, oh my goodness. All this stuff that, you hear about that was done and then they redo it. Like 10 years ago, they had it the way it was. So coming across it is kind of strange and just shows you how much of a normie I am with this stuff. But anyways, to the game. It's all right. It's all right. Is it worth the like $80, $70 that it costs? Oof. Oh, man. As one of the more collectible Xbox 360 games, before these price spikes, I wanted to have it because I wanted to play it. I'm sure I could have just... Actually, I can't even download it. Yeah, no, this one's delisted. That's why it's so expensive. But I like it. I like playing as the 4 different Spider-Men. The noir things are kind of like stealth missions. The other 3 seem to be... Because I played the Craven mission and I played most of the Hammerhead mission. Outside of the prologue where you're going and briefly being introduced to the different Peter Parkers. They all have that cheeky Spider-Man tude, which, of course, I love that Peter Parker's a wise ass. But it's a fun game. It's fun. I'm glad to have it. I'm glad to have picked it up. And one that if you can find it cheap, like, is it going to go up even more now? Maybe. I don't know. But one that I just wanted to pick up and wanted to talk about. So if you guys can ever find that one is probably the only Spider-Man game of all the other ones out there I'm going to be picking up. Just because I really like that cool aspect of playing as the 4. Because in the Insomniac Spider-Man, some of these were outfits. And that was always weird. It's like, where do these outfits come from? Well, here you go. That's where some of these came from. All right, last 2 here. Okay, so this one was kind of a dud, to be honest with you. It sounded better on paper. It's got a little bit of that Deadpool, breaking the fourth wall. Will Arnett does the voice, and that game is Eat Lead, The Return of Mad Hazard. They have this whole cool thing at the beginning of the game where it shows that he's a former 8-bit star through the years, had all these different games, and then I guess he did a Mario Kart, and it tanked his career. You then start the game, and at the end of the first level, you find out he's supposed to be erased by an Arnold Schwarzenegger copycat, but he's not because some girl hacks into the game, and then you continue on from there. The thing about it that, in my opinion, doesn't work is that the humor is both lambasting what it is, but then embracing what it is at the same time. So, like, for instance, they make fun of this cheesy Arnold character, but then Mad Hazard going like, it's hazard time. However, then the lady who hacked into the game, instead of liking that, is then being like, okay, you're lame. And it's one of those things where it's a bridge too far of like, okay, you can't make fun of it here, but then when he's doing his cool guy thing, make fun of it again. At a certain point, someone has to think this is cool because you want me as the person to think it's cool, right? Because that's the character I'm playing as. So I don't want my character to also be a big oaf after we called someone else a big oaf. And it's just a run-of-the-mill action kind of cover-based shooter. Not really. It doesn't have great feedback when you shoot people. There's no realistic, like when you're shooting them, it's clear you're in a game, so they turn into a spark of electric nodes. It's unsatisfying. You even get into these combat sections, these one-on-one combat sections, almost like a fighting game, but it's more timing based on quick time events, and they're a little lame. And like all in all, the game's a little lame. Now it's about a $10 game, $15 game. pick it up if you're interested in that thing. I don't know. I think I played so many better games this week that definitely had a high hill to climb, but I digress. All right, and then the last one, which this was another game I didn't really have on my radar until I saw. Can't remember whose video it was, but like I said, I've been watching so many Xbox 360 videos. But the game that he picked up and saw at his game store for $20, I also saw at my game store for $20, and that was Mayhem 3D. And what made it look so cool is it's another one of those stylized black and white games. Think of like Sin City visual-esque, but then it has pops of red throughout it, and when you run into stuff, it gives you those big interjections like the Batman live action series back in the 60s, where it's like Zord, boink, juke, and it's more or less a modern take on Destruction Derby, like the closest I've seen to something like Destruction Derby back in the PS1 days. And I really enjoyed it. Now, it does come with 3D glasses. Mine did not come with the 3D glasses, so it's not completely complete, but it's good enough for me. And it says it works on all TVs, like all TVs, even non-3D TVs. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if just any old 3D glasses will work with it. As far as games go, for $20, well worth it. It's already, so like I said, this one and the Divinity game, they lost out on some stuff. Now, they probably gave the guy less trade-in, though, because of it. Because that game now going online is about $40. I got it for $20. For $20, well worth picking up. $40, I'd be a little bit more hesitant. But really enjoyed it. It was a dumb, fun destruction racer. So many unlockables. So many different things you can get into. And just, all in all, a fun one. A lot better, in my opinion, than Blood Drive. And just one that I'm glad to have. I picked up some more of these black and white games. There's one that we'll probably talk about in a couple of weeks or next week. But anyways, that's it for this week, guys. There's only 10. Sorry. I'm still getting over a cold with Father's Day. We're still going to probably knock this up to like a 30-minute episode anyways. As a reminder, I release a new video every Tuesday. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I love all the new subscribers, all the new comments, likes. Keep it coming. If you have comments for me, let me know. I did have a comment last week where to the people who had subscribed before when I was doing the RPG content, yeah, that's coming back too. Obviously, YouTube is a fickle beast. These videos are doing really well right now, and I feel like I just, you got to get your name out there. You got to get people watching you. Otherwise, no one's going to care. And also, this is kind of what I'm playing right now. I don't really have time to do anything else. I did manage to beat Unicorn Overlord this year. So if you're wanting to know a great RPG that came out this year, that is phenomenal. But like I said, 2024 has just been kind of a dud in my opinion. Yeah, I know there's great games like Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade and things of that nature that have come out. They either feel like flavor of the month, like no one's talking about Dragon Dogma 2 anymore, no one's talking about Power World anymore. Like these games, they come and they go. And it's just, are they going to have the staying power? I don't know. Maybe Helldivers 2, but I definitely did not expect it to still be as big as it is now. But yes, we'll get back to the regular scheduled content, but I'm really enjoying discovering some of these things, and I really wanted to share that with you guys, and it seems like a lot of people are enjoying it too. And to the 80% of you guys who haven't subscribed yet, hey, why don't you give me a subscribe? Give it a like. It's free. All you gotta do. Anyways, hey, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything. It's been so nice getting a hold of you. Take care.